In this episode, we're going to go over the NYSESLAT analysis that is available to your school district. After logging on, you're going to go to a section called L's or L Compliance and Data, and you'll click on that. Then you will choose NYSESLAT Analysis. This menu does not have NYSESLAT Analysis, and it may look a little different on your computer, but you will choose NYSESLAT Analysis. Then you will see 4 buttons like this. Let's go over each one. List of students. Here you will see all of the students that took the NYSESLAT in the last 2 years. If a student only has 1 score, then you will only see 1 score. You will see each student, and then you will see the year. If you want to see raw scores and the scale score, which is these columns right here, you can pick this tab. If you don't really need that, which a lot of people typically don't need, and the reason you're using this tool and this analysis is because the interpretation is already done for you, so I would go ahead and click on without. It's just less information, less cumbersome. Now, after you look at the data, you will see students, and so let's go over this. So you will see, for example, this student, Carl Abraham, in 24-25 took the NYSESLAT and scored expanding. But again, where is Carl on the expanding range, on the expanding spectrum? Is he high expanding, low expanding, or is he somewhere in the middle? Well, this column here tells you if that student is in the middle or low or high. So this student is in the middle. And we can even see he did score expanding. He is in the middle, minimally in the middle. And these are his scores. So what this is saying is that he got 81.48% of the questions answered correctly. He was 5 questions away from the next level in terms of reading. And that would mean in terms of getting to the next level and even testing out, becoming commanding. Here we have for writing, number of questions answered correctly, 83%, 2 questions away from the next level. Here we have speaking, 90% of the questions answered correctly, and 83% of the questions answered correctly for listening. Now this is important because sometimes we see other students like this. This student is Ian, and so he took the NYSESLAT for 2 years in a row. But look at Ian. So we see that Ian 2 years ago in 23-24 scored expanding, but he was on the lower side. And so he was expanding, but because he was on the lower side, he made progress. He went from low expanding to mid expanding, but he still didn't test out. And so we can see where he made that progress. And so in this situation, he was expanding, but he would have benefited from more support, more instructional targeted support in terms of reading and writing. He needed less support in speaking and listening. And we can also see the same thing here. We see this student, Olivia. Olivia was emerging, and then she scored transitioning. But again, where is Olivia in the transitioning range? She is low, 2 scale score points from going backwards. And so here you can also see where she would really benefit from more help. For reading, she only scored 37% of the questions correctly. Writing, she didn't score anything correctly. And if we scroll over, for listening, she only scored less than half of the questions correct. Only speaking was fairly on the stronger side. Now, if I needed to, I can go ahead and I can search for any student I want. If I want to just look for one student, I could pick just a particular school year if I want to see only 1 year. I could look for students who scored in a certain proficiency. So if I want to only look at students who scored emerging or listening, emerging or entering, I could do that. Or I can scroll and just pick one particular school. I can filter to that. So I'm going to go back now. And now let's look at individual student deep dive analysis. So in this situation, we can go ahead and we can really look, and now we get even a deeper analysis. And just to more visuals to help us better understand Olivia, one of the students we just looked at. And so here we can see Olivia went from emerging to transitioning. We also see where she made progress. Reading, she went up. Writing, she went down. Speaking, she went up. Listening, she went down. And here are the percentages, and here are the number of questions from the next level. We also see a more deeper analysis and explanation. Student progressed one level from emerging to transitioning. Nice job. Based on spring 2025 administration, overall the student scored low 2-scale score points. So this puts all of the information in a more understandable language. And then this meter also shows us where she is on the scale. Because she is low on the scale, this is where the arrow is showing. Student scored low. So now again, I can choose any student I want. And so here we see this student went from entering to emerging. Now this student is more in the middle, made progress, but still needs more progress. But this student is more in the middle. So now I'm going to go back. And now I'm going to look at groups and proficiency. So now I can see also how many students took the exam. And I can also see and break it down. So I can say, okay, let's take a look at only transitioning students. So what I see is of the students who scored transitioning, 101 are right in the middle. I see that 8 students scored high and 6 scale score points from the next level. We see that 5 students scored high and only 1 scale score point from the next level. So you may wonder, who are these 5 students? So I can go ahead and click on that. And for grouping purposes, I can look at these 5 students. And now I know these 5 students are all doing very well. I'm going to go back now. And I can also see who made progress. So this chart tells us which students made progress. So I can look, I can see by school. I can see which schools made progress. I can see current grades. I can see the average change. This is number of proficiency levels. So the average is 0.53 proficiency levels. And I can even see it by student. I can filter to only look at one particular group of students. And I hope that you find this video tutorial helpful. Let us know if you have any questions or feedback.